Hello and good morning. It's another wonderful Wednesday. Time for you to wake up to another great show.
Yeah, every day of the week we show up here at 7 a.m. whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
To give you the best of lifestyle content and some really good food.
Yes, of course. Now, most definitely, we're here to assure you that you're going to have a great day. You're going to have a great morning. As long as you stay tuned here, as you get ready, get set to go out, we'll be making sure that happens.
All right, and we just don't do this in traditional TV. We're everywhere. As long as you let us,
Yes.
You can hook us up on online, because we're streaming live on the website at tvcontinental.tv and on Facebook.
On TVC, it's all about the comments. Make sure you use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. We're right there. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And I'm Yomi Owope.
And of course, I know that we all get cranky if we don't have the required nutrition for the day. And well, hey, we know that there's going to be something cooking a bit later on the show.
Hopefully. The only reason you get cranky is when you don't have your coffee, so don't even start about it.
Well, you know, sometimes we just need something to boost you in the morning.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really great to have a cup of coffee. And thank you, Yomi, for arranging one for me after this highlights.
We'll see what
segment.
we can do. We'll look into it,
Yeah,
like
Yomi's gonna go get
government
me coffee.
officials. Government officials say we'll look into it.
We're going to be having great stuff on the show today. Make Music Lagos is a whole day of music in commemoration of World Music Day, and we will be having some of the organizers here to tell us a lot more about this yearly event.
All right. After that, we'll be having Stephen Omojuigbe, who's going to be back in the studios to tell us about the advantages of couples not keeping secrets from each other. Ooh.
And in the reality of genetically modified foods and a degrading planet, we have to do what we can to stay healthy and help the environment. Now, Seun Adeshoye will be here joining us to show us practical ways to grow our own vegetables in our backyard.
And of course, there's going to be a performance from Babalola Korede. Looking forward to that one.
All right. And of course, we'll be having fitness instructor and lawyer, the Fit Lawyer, join us for a chat on wellness and the power of a disciplined mind.
As always, keep your comments coming on social media. Very important.
Very important.
Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook.
What do we do today?
Oh,
it's been a while someone has crushed on anybody, eh?
Hey,
It's Wednesday.
Woman
Wednesday
Crush
before the World Cup.
Wednesday. So how can you crush on women before the World Cup?
I'm just trying to think. It's not a female World Cup, it's a male World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of women that are really interested in football. So if you have a girlfriend or a spouse, a woman that's really interested in football, and she's your woman crush for the day, then show us who she is.
Everyone
Let's
might as well
celebrate.
crush on me, you know.
Yes, indeed.
So let's go out there. Do you
Like,
love football? Put
I don't
up your
joke with my
picture.
sports.
Do you love Mary?
Do you
Yes,
love
no, don't love Mary. Love the sports lady.
Yeah,
that
the
I am.
sport, really. I honestly, sports and me, it's like oil and water. We don't really mix. I've never played a sport. I've never done anything athletic.
You know something quite interesting.
Honestly,
We would
just-
also be showing, airing some matches live.
Oh, yes.
On the station.
Oh, right,
Apart
right.
from that, we would have a correspondent. We'll be
Especially
bringing live,
Nigerian matches.
Yeah,
Yes.
live updates.
Yeah.
So the World Cup fever, TVC has got you covered, right?
Yes, indeed.
So
Promise is heading
it's
to
in
Russia.
Russia.
Like, he's in
Yeah.
Russia already
He
by
should
now,
be in
probably.
Russia.
He's going to be
He
having
has
a lot
to
of
relax,
fun.
put his feet up before work
Yeah.
starts tomorrow.
it's
I remember
so
when we
cool.
spoke last week, he was
Yeah.
still saying, I never sure. But now, you know.
He's sure.
Yeah. but it's not so cold now, right?
Well, it's
Should be
considered
close to summer. Yeah.
Yeah, so
What
it's,
some people
it's not
think
that
of
bad.
as summer, man, that's winter. The Russian summer is winter to everybody else.
You're actually right.
It's colder
actually
up
right.
north,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the matches that are going to be played up north will
Up
be
north will be a bit
colder, so you
much
probably have to wear
colder.
gloves. But down south is a bit better. It's a bit better
Okay.
than, yeah.
All
So-
right.
Well, but
The
good
weather's
luck
not
to
bad.
our boys, you know.
Yeah.
We're really wishing them the best.
On the one hand, it's a good thing that our boys have already won a cup for us. Yes, the fashion cup. We are the best dressed. Is it jersey? Is it
I can't believe Mary is saying this.
So we might end up winning 2 cups. The best dressed, if there's going to be such a cup, and of course the World Cup itself.
What
And
are
I
you
have
saying?
strong
Speaking of
faith
jerseys,
that
We
we
would
speaking of
never
jerseys,
win the
eh?
World Cup. Impossible.
Ha!
Impossible.
Mike,
Mike,
if
so-
we win the World Cup,
Wait,
you must quit
hang on.
this set
Impossible.
forever.
Wait, hang on.
You
hang
will
on.
close the show,
Based
sir.
on-
You want to win one. Are you okay?
If we win,
Wait,
Mike,
Mike.
you will
Okay,
How
so-
can you
wait,
say-
hang on,
how can you
Mike,
say
keep
that Nigeria
quiet.
will win World
No,
Cup?
just keep
How can
quiet.
you say?
Wait,
Let's
wait.
just look at
Calm
everything.
down.
Did you see what
hang on.
Mascherano wrote
Wait,
about the
hang
fact that
Really?
Nigerian players are so disorganized? They disorganize their fellow players, and that's how they win matches. I'm proud of you guys.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you don't want to play on Martin Nigeria will
Okay,
win World
so-
Cup.
I'm proud of Nigeria, and I have
let's
faith.
go to the
Bloomberg,
news.
What are you saying?
Bloomberg
Hey, we woke up.
Bloomberg did 1 million simulations about possible World Cup outcomes yesterday,
Okay.
and Nigeria was not.
In any of the
That's
Many of
why
them,
the
1
underdog
million-
wins sometimes.
1
So
million
it's okay,
simulations.
we
I'm not
understand.
kidding.
If you like, let Tenos come
Whatever
and play
they
for
like,
Nigeria.
let
sir.
them
Kidding.
do.
Oh my
It's
God.
all right.
Yomi, thank
It's
you
one of
for-
those
There were
things.
1 million scenarios.
Thank you for telling me who to bet on.
Me, I'm betting
sorry.
on Nigeria. By the time we are out, I'll just cry and move on. But I know we will not.
Me, I will
lose.
still try and wear
I
my
am
jersey.
betting
Sha.
on Nigeria.
I want us to hold this conversation until next time. And let's go over to the news.
Since the host is on standby for us.
I'm not blessing their host. My name is Busola Mituashe, but let me start with what I have for you from this end. But I'd like to warn that our first story contains scenes with flash photography. 25 years after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, President Muhammadu Buhari has conferred special honors on the heroes of Nigeria's democracy. The biggest recipient is the acclaimed winner of that election, late Moshood Abiola. Correspondent Sekinat Adeyinka tells us more.
Although 25 years is a long time, it is indeed not sufficient to forget the events and struggles of June 12 in Nigeria. Several tributes and comments trailed the special honors conferred on the heroes of the June 12 presidential election by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. The president charged Nigerians to accept the events of June 12 in good faith, adding that it is in the interest of Nigeria and for national reconciliation.
Our decision to recognize and honor June 12 and its actors is in the national interest. It is aimed at settling national healing process and the reconciliation of the 25-year festering wound caused by the annulment of the June 12 elections.
President Buhari also apologized to Nigerians and the families of the late heroes on the events surrounding the annulment of the elections.
I tender the nation's apology to the family of late MKO Abiola, who got the highest votes, and to those that lost their loved ones in the cause of June 12 struggle.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
In response to the president's apology, daughter of the late Chief MKO Abiola, Hafsat Abiola Costello, in an emotional response, thanked the president for the honor.
Who would have ever believed, given the relationship that you had with Chief MKO Abiola, that you would be the instrument God would use to honor this man and to bring reconciliation and healing to the country. You apologized to my family, and it touched my heart. My mom told me how he would stand in front of the mirror. He was preparing the speech because the results were coming in, and he thought he was going to be able to deliver it. And you know, he used to stammer. So he would start, fellow Nigerians, and he never really got past fellow Nigerians.
APC national leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu hailed the government for the giant strike, which marks another page in the history of Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've heard the promises from here. The spirit of the man you honor today principally, MKO Abiola, the creed of the campaign was hope. Thank you for bringing hope back to us.
Because we're fighting for the validation of June 12.
Human rights lawyer Femi Falana also shared his experience and thanked President Buhari for honoring June 12 while charging the president to put an end to the incessant killings in the country.
Could have lost my life, but I'm lucky to be here. Now, with effect from today, I urge you, Mr. President, to direct all security forces in Nigeria and the police in the spirit of June 12 to respect the fundamental rights of every Nigerian in this country. We'll work assiduously with the Buhari administration to put an end to the reckless killings of our people.
I would like to make a request.
Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka was blunt about the president's romance with Abiola's tormentors.
It is not possible to honor MKO Abiola in one breath and then admire his tormentor in another breath. Loyalty is all very well, but loyalty can become perverse if that loyalty is retained to an individual who, if he were alive today, would be before the International Court of Crimes Against Humanity.
The June 12, 1993 election result was a victory for Nigerians, but the election was annulled by military ruler Ibrahim Babangida, which led to a crisis. 25 years afterwards, history has been made, and this event can be tagged as the new face of democracy in Nigeria. Sekinat Adeyinka, TVC News.
And that's all I have for you this time, but hopefully at the top of the hour, I will have more stories for you. My name is Busolami Chunwashe, but now let's take a look at the weather update.
All right, it's going to be time for the sports update after this commercial break. And of course, all right, thanks, Mike. We're starting with the Punch this morning and the headline, June 12, stop showing loyalty to Abacha. Soyinka tells Buhari. President confers GCFR on Abiola, GCON on Gani Kingibe. Apologizes for annulment of June 12, 1993 election. Obasanjo IBB absent. Nadeco seeks true federalism. A 2 billion naira fraud. Ex-Governor Dariye jailed for 14 years. A national career to begin operation in December, says the NCAA. FBI arrests 29 Nigerians, others for fraud. And federal government appoints transaction advisors for Afam Power and Yola Disco. And finally, Eagles train in Esentuki travel to Kaliningrad Thursday. All on the cover of The Punch.
On the cover of The Nation newspaper, it says, Buhari on June 12. Sorry. President honors Abiola Kingibe Fawemi. Soyinka advocates Hall of Shame. Tinubu says, we'll back Buhari for second term. Falana says ensure rights and end killings. It says here on 1.162 billion naira fraud, court jails former Governor Dariye 16 years. Police uncover illegal blood bank. Page 43 has more on that. Cracks in Ondo PDP over Mimiko. That's on page 40. It's historic in the U.S. U.S. and North Korea sign historic pact. NCAA say national carriers December takeoff okay. And then finally, Super Eagles hit Kaliningrad on Thursday. That's what we have on the cover of The Nation.
Up next is the Daily Sun and the headline, Buhari begs Abiola's family over June 12. Sorry, so sorry. Soyinka Falana, Iyorchia Ayu, task president on governance. Diversion of 1.6 billion naira, ex-Plateau governor Dariye bags 14-year jail term. Benue lost 400 billion naira to herdsmen attack, says Governor Autumn. Real story of June 12 will be told Sunday, says Kalu. And finally, Father Mbaka disowns prayer chain circulating on social media. All on the cover of the Daily Sun.
The Guardian newspaper says President Buhari apologizes to Abiola's family over June 12, holds minute silence for heroes of democracy. Obasanjo, Babangida, Saraki, Dogara, Nwosu absent. Dariye gets 14 years imprisonment for diverting 1.1 billion naira worth of state funds. Buhari renews tenure of 6 chief executive officers. Trump and Kim agree on a denuclearization deal considered symbolic. That's what we have on the cover of The Guardian.
All right, up next is the Nigerian Tribune and the headline, Buhari apologizes over June 12 annulment. You can't honor Abiola and admire Abacha, Soyinka tells Buhari. Beware of people around you. Don't see opposition as enemy, Ayu tells president. A couple of other writers there. 1.12 billion naira fraud. Ex-governor Dariye jailed for 14 years. Singapore summit. World leaders react to Trump-Kim's meeting. U.S. arrests 29 Nigerians, 44 others in global email scam crackdown. And 7 new arrivals from Spain. Driver die in auto crash on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That's a sad one there.
Wow.
On the cover of the Nigerian Tribune.
This Day newspaper says, June 12, we are sorry, Buhari tells families of Abiola and other heroes. Says recognition not meant to reopen, but heal wounds. Now, there's a picture of the new statue of the acclaimed winner of the annulled June 12 presidential election. That's MKO Abiola. It was unveiled in Lagos yesterday by Governor Akinwumi Ambode, and it's the tallest and biggest statue in Lagos. It also says here, Buhari signs 2018 budget today on page 10. Hopefully that happens. Another former governor, Dariye, bags 14 years imprisonment for corruption. And then finally, Ekiti elections will be difficult to rig, says INEC. That's what we have on the cover of this day.
Up next is the New Telegraph. And the headline, Tinubu, 14 governors endorse Oshomole as APC chair. Amosun Ganduje Bagudu, Lalong Almakura, others visit ex-governor. And a couple of other writers there. June 12 annulment, we're sorry, Buhari tells Abiola family. Ex-governor Dariye bags 14 years jail term. All on the cover of the New Telegraph.
So the final paper with me is the Vanguard. That's before the sports, complete sports. It says, annulment at last. Federal government apologizes to MKO Abiola's family, others. We will no longer tolerate perversion of justice, says Buhari. And IBB Obasanjo send apologies for absence at investiture. And it also says here, firms, households, individuals lose billions as traffic worsens in Apapa environs. It's a big issue there. It says on the convention, Tinubu, Akonde, APC governors endorse Oshomole's candidacy. Trump to end Korea war games after historic summit. The Naira depreciates to $361.30 Naira to the dollar in the INE window. And that's what we have on the cover of the Vanguard.
All right. So do we still have time for sports?
Yeah, I think we do.
All right. So just one more minute. Let's look at Complete Sports and the headline, Raw, my Eagles are ambitious outsiders. I like that. Mikel, Eagles will prove critics wrong. Bonfair Joe, my fears for Eagles. You can read that story. Moses, why Croatia must fall. I like that. And then Complete Sports, the team lands in Russia, so we're also going to be getting some live reports from there as well.
Yeah, I actually saw Bonfair Joe when he came to the studio.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
Was that yesterday? It was really interesting to see him. He's looking quite well. But it's interesting to hear his perspective also about how he thinks the Eagles are going to do. And of course, we have a lot of those clips on YouTube. We're going to be having so much more on the show for you today. Of course, fitness will be happening in the garden right after we return from this break.
He's ensuring that his core is engaged. Great work. 4, 5. That's the last exercise. And 5. So now we're going to stretch because it's very important that you stay stretched and so you don't get injuries. We'll stretch our arms. And we'll stretch our legs. We'll leave you to do the rest at home. Thank you for watching.
All right, thanks so much, guys. As the fit lawyer there, we'll be talking to her about what she's up to. All right, and the 2016 edition of Make Music Lagos started, of course, 2 years ago. And it's an entertaining edition that featured over 35 performances across 3 concert venues. The event is a free day of music hosted in commemoration of World Music Day. And we have here one of the organizers to tell us a little more about what to expect in the year 2018. Femi Ojo, who's a member of the organizing committee. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right, so World Music Day is on June 21st.
Yes.
And Make Music Lagos is, of course, commemorating this with the Make Music Alliance. So tell us about this.
Okay. So Make Music Lagos is the Lagos edition of Make Music Day. It's a free day of live music events in commemoration of World Music Day, like you rightly said. It's on June 21, but this year it's our 3rd edition, and we are making it bigger. We're having events across the week, starting from the 17th. We start off with the Mass Appeal, which is a performance where bands and instrumentalists get together to perform the theme song for Make Music Lagos, which will happen on the 17th at JJT Park in Alausa.
Right, so this is a whole week of activities.
Yes.
World Music Day is June 21st.
Yeah.
But activities start on Sunday the 17th and go on throughout the week.
Throughout the week, all the way till the 24th, when we have our Lagos Shutdown, which is our big finale event.
I like that, Lagos Shutdown.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about, before we came on, you were talking about the fact that there are going to be different concerts in different locations, especially on the 21st. There are going to be like 15 concerts. Tell us about the concerts and how people can participate.
Well, we've partnered with venue owners to put together concerts on the 21st, which is World Music Day. We've partnered with Domino's and Creamstone Inn. They've given us a number of their locations. We've also partnered with Bogobiri, Museum Center, Freedom Park, Hard Rock Cafe, Ikeja City Mall.
So these different locations, people can then go and participate.
Yes,
in the
concerts are free, so everyone can go all out and attend. For now, we've closed the portal for performances, but the portal was open a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. If people want to, if there are dancers or performers who want to participate, how do they do that? So the portal is closed already?
It's closed already. We have over 300 people signed up to perform across these venues. But people that are music enthusiasts and are still interested, they have the opportunity of still performing at Mass Appeal. If you're an instrumentalist or a member of a band, you have an opportunity to be part of Mass Appeal. Just show up for the rehearsals, which will happen in University of Lagos, the Creative Art Department, on Friday and on Saturday, on the 15th and the 16th. So they just need to turn up there, come with their
Mass Appeal, so that's still open?
It's still open.
To performers, but it's instrumentals, you said?
It's instrumental, so you have to be playing something to be part of that. Also, you can still participate in the street studio and learn to DJ and learn to play.
Okay,
those are still open.
Excellent. So the initiatives, so which is some of the things that you talked about, the fact that people can learn to do different things and, you know, participate in this program.
Well, we have two learning initiatives. We have also a production initiative. Learn to Play is an opportunity to give people to learn how to play guitar, drums, or the keyboard. So at some of the select venues, there'll be opportunity for people to come up, just turn up, and you know there'll be someone there to teach you how to play and put you through the basics of all those instruments. Also learn to DJ. We've partnered with leading DJs in Nigeria. We partnered with DJ Jimmy Jat, DJ Cypher, DJ Nana, and a host of other DJs. And you can turn up on that day and, you know, get insight, get tidbits, and, you know, learn how to, you know, be on the turntable.
Right. So let's talk about the grand finale on the 24th, which is, you know, Lagos Shutdown, like you call it.
It's
so
the Lagos Shutdown.
What should we expect from the Lagos Shutdown, and where is it going to be, and how can people participate?
Well, the Lagos Shutdown is going to be at the Muri-Okunla Park in Victoria Island. It's on the 24th, starts at 4 p.m. It's open to everyone, but pre-registration is required. So just go on our website, which is makemusiclagos.org.ng, and register. And, you know, you have a ticket to attend the Lagos Shutdown, which is our finale event. It's our biggest of all the events. Already signed up. We have YJ, we have Praise, we have Vector, and a host of other artists.
Okay, so this is on Sunday the 24th.
On Sunday the 24th.
Muri-Okunla Park.
Yes.
People have to be pre-registered on makemusiclagos.org.ng.
Yeah.
And then if people want to follow you on social media, how do they do that?
Well, we are on social media at Make Music Lagos, and our hashtag is Make Music Lagos. So people encourage people to follow us to stay up to date with all the events that will be happening and all the performances. And, you know, we continue to roll out new artists in the lead up to the Lagos Shutdown.
All right. Thanks so much, Femi Ojo, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick look at last year's performances from Make Music Lagos. And, of course, after that, take a break.
Take you shopping for your clothes and all your jewelry, but I do spend time in Paris.
Okay, so this conversation has already started. It's Wake Up Nigeria, and what we're talking about right now has to do with relationships. We have our coach in the studio, Stephen Omojigbe. And on a certain level, a certain level of secrecy is not only allowed, but considered healthy for couples. This week, he's back to talk to us and continue the conversation we started last week on the advantages and, of course, disadvantages of couples who decide to have some secrets, you know. So it's this issue of secrecy and privacy. Having a certain level of privacy means that there might be some things that you're not sharing, you're not giving away. So I'm thinking let's start with the positives. Let's start with the good things that come from keeping things from your spouse.
So in my work as a coach, I've seen people who are either in a relationship or in marriage, and they've completely lost themselves.
Okay.
They don't know who they are anymore. They've lost touch with their heart, their personal goals, their visions, because there's just no space in that relationship for them to be themselves.
Okay.
So one of the advantages of having privacy in a relationship or marriage is that you have some personal space.
Okay.
You have some personal intellectual space. Okay. You have some personal spiritual space. You have some personal time, you know, things you want to do and you don't want to share, or maybe you don't want to share just yet. Maybe you're thinking about this desire in your heart, this thing you think is a call from God, this thing you think it's something you want to do in your future, and you're working on it, and your spouse says, "What are you working about?" You say, "Can I just hold this? Can you let me just not tell you yet?"
Okay.
And if there's trust in your relationship, if there's trust in your marriage, your spouse should realize that if you're holding something back from them, maybe there's a good reason for it. Because sometimes when we don't have that personal space, we are not able to properly evolve, we're not able to personally grow. And once you share with your spouse, he wants to give a feedback, and maybe you're not just ready for feedback at that time. You need that thing to just grow inside of you. So in that instance, there is very good things that come out of privacy.
Okay, so now this is where I would counter and say, you know what, but I'm on your team. I'm on your side. I'm your partner in this. This game of life, we're here to play it together.
Yes.
Whatever you're doing, I have some positive contributions I can make to it.
Yes.
You know, so maybe I could even help. I could assist. Maybe if I contribute to this secret or this project you're working on or whatever you're trying to do to improve on yourself, maybe I could make it better.
And you're right. And it's interesting you use the word team.
Okay.
So let's look at work teams, for example. You're at work. Okay. You work within this team, and an idea comes to you. And you want to think about it first before you share it. Okay. You really want to articulate it. You want to understand it for yourself.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to share it immediately. So in a marriage, that can also happen. Yes, the spouse is on their team. Yes, they will eventually get to know if it's something they're going to do. But for some time, they want to keep it private. And I really think it's healthy if there's enough respect and trust in a relationship that allows that to happen.
So there are big issues, though. There are some big issues. You know, people's past, medical history, family ties that might affect the other spouse's career goals and things like that. For instance, if something you know from your past could affect my career, maybe someone, or maybe you dated my boss, and my boss remembers how you treated him or her, and it affects, you know, those kinds of secrets, they can be quite stressful to keep in.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say it might even have some mental connotations there.
Yes, it does. Secrets weigh us down.
Okay.
They play on our emotions. But when it comes to the past, Titi, you have to be really careful where you want to draw the line. It's important when you're coming into marriage or when you're in marriage that your spouse knows everything about your past that may have a present impact on them, on their relationship. But again, I ask the question, do you really want to tell your husband or your wife every girl you've been with, every wild party you went to, every time you got drunk? Do they really need to know? Does that benefit them? So the question is, this thing that I'm holding back, or this thing I want to share, does it benefit my spouse to know? There are certain things about your past that might actually damage their emotions towards you. Especially with men. Men are very territorial. And as a woman, you don't want to tell your husband every guy you've been with. Maybe that was at a point in your life when you were young and you were crazy and you did some silly things. You don't want to come and tell him, you know what, when I was 16, I did this. When I was 17, I did that. So some of those things, even you need to forget them. They are in your past. You've dealt with them. They're in another time of your life. And even for you, you need to forgive yourself, forget them, and move on. So those are not things you want to go and resurrect.
But I don't want to sound like a Nollywood movie director where I see, you know, some things come back where maybe you've forgotten them, you put them in the past, and then somehow, you know, something or someone from the past comes forward. For instance, there are very big issues, like, for instance, having a child. from your past. That's a big secret.
Of course, if
That's
you have a
secret.
child from your past, that has significant impact on your present relationship.
But what if the child is not in the country, in the continent?
You still have to tell.
Okay.
And those are things you even have to tell before you get married.
Okay.
These are not things you get married to someone and you begin to tell.
So there are some you tell and there's some
you don't tell. So it's making that distinction between what to tell and what not to tell. That's where it's a little bit tricky because privacy, like I said last week, is something that's healthy, but secrecy is not.
Okay.
If you're in the bathroom and your phone is ringing and you start screaming as a man, nobody should touch that phone, nobody should touch that phone, and you jump out of the bathroom on top of the phone as if you're Vincent Heyama. Something is wrong with that. Why can't your wife touch your phone? Why can't she know who's calling you?
Okay.
Why can't she know who's texting you? Why can't you tell your wife, hey, read that text for me, what's going on there?
Okay.
Because the foundation of marriage and relationship is trust, right? But the foundation of trust is transparency and accountability. I mean, imagine that we're business partners and you want me to trust you. But every time I ask you for the account, say, hey, trust me. You don't need to see the account. Something is wrong with that. And you're keeping the books. You won't let me see the books. You're hiding the books and you want me to trust you. There cannot be trust without transparency. There cannot be trust without accountability. So your spouse has the right to ask you where you're going, who are you going to be with. Okay. All of those questions are things that engender trust.
Okay.
So
it's not just nosiness. It's not just conspiracy theories, you know, because I've heard so many cases where, you know, where I'm on a lot of women's groups and the women are like, so I asked where he was going to and he just doesn't want to tell me. He doesn't think I need to know. And even for security reasons, you know, a lot of the time, knowing where a partner is going to be at any given time ensures that if, for instance, something happened, you'll be able to help.
Absolutely.
So
accountability is critical. If you're married to someone, you're accountable to them for your money because it's really not your money. It's our money. Okay. You're accountable to them for your time because it's really not your time, it's our time. But the problem comes when you do it in a nosy, accusatory way. Okay. You do it when the relationship has some tensions and then he wants to go out. Maybe he just wants to go out and let out some steam, just wants to go hang out with the boys, and then you're all over that and you're asking questions. So again, it's a question of nuances. By principle, you should be accountable to your spouse. But when that becomes a CIA agent you have become, and you're nosing around and it degrades you, like I said last week. It degrades you as a human being, as a woman, as a man, that you have to be snooping around your spouse's clothes and where it goes. That kind of diminishes you. And then it diminishes them also. It will be rather better for you to have a conversation and say, there is something, I'm feeling this, what is happening here, and for you to be snooping around. So again, it's a balance of two seemingly contradictions. The fact that you want to have trust in your relationship, you want to have respect, but you also need to know what is going on when things are happening that may impact your relationship with them.
Stephen Omojuigbe, thank you so much, as always, for coming to the studio. We'd love to know what you think about this. Please hit our social media pages hard with your comments. Hashtag WakeUpNigeria at TVC Connect. Now, we learn new things every day, and about this time, we've come to the end of the first half of the show. Make sure you stay with us. We're coming up with the second half in a bit.
Well, hello again. We have been hard at work, brightening up your morning, and there's still more to come on
yes,
the show.
Indeed. Now, it's quite a big job we have, and well, that job is to make sure your day starts just the right way. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And I'm Yomi Owokwe. We are live right now on tvcontinental.tv, and on Facebook, you can look us up on TVC Connect. Now, if you want to participate in the show, tell us what you thought about the June 12 presentations yesterday. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria. Now,
we'll be getting our hands a little dirty this morning, and there's going to be some interesting DIY. Now, you need to watch this. Oluwaseun Adeshoye will be showing us practical ways to grow tomatoes right in our own backyard, or even on our balcony itself.
Tomato.
Yeah, tomato.
All right, and we also have a performance from Babalola Akorede, also known as Ebenezer. who's going to be coming up later on.
Yes, indeed. Then we'll be having a chat with the Fit Lawyer on fitness, goals, and so much more later on the show.
Don't forget to drop your comments on social media.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't quite check the rundown. Who's going to be discussing with her? Is it
Fit Lawyer, it's likely going to be Mike.
Wait, we are talking about comments on social media first.
Because we need Mike on that chat.
Really
Wait, you were talking about...
No, we were talking about Mike and
comments on social media. You didn't finish what you were saying now.
I've never seen Mike so helpful
Thank
with
you for
a
continuing
fitness
the
person.
conversation.
Honestly, he was hands-on.
What are these people saying?
Very hands-on.
What are these people saying? Who are they?
Extremely helpful.
How many girls
Very
can have
hands-on.
six-pack? You want to show you need to listen to that discussion. You're not to have it in the garden. You learn how to have six-pack like Titi.
Okay.
Just so you know, Mike is an eligible bachelor.
Now,
Six-pack, fitness.
Where's your
No, you see something. I think it was Beyonce I remember when I used to see Beyonce's workout. And, okay, well, Hollywood can be deceptive. Be very careful with those guys.
Yeah.
Someone gives birth and then you just see the person flat stomach.
They've
done some incisions, right?
Yeah, of course.
But one person I know that really takes it very well is Beyonce, because you see, the thing about a woman is that when they have those kind of six-pack, even when there was this lady, she was 6 months pregnant and you could see nothing.
Yeah.
Like she still had the packs. The baby came out healthy because,
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
it was seeming like we baby have space. I don't know. The human anatomy is just something else.
Yeah,
you know, but then she had the six-packs and all that. So a lady with six...
I loved, what I loved about her was the fact that her arms were completely toned. And I know that the average woman, Nigerian woman, is always looking for ways to have well-toned arms.
Exactly.
And that's a conversation I'm going to be having with her.
Of course.
Soon enough.
You are going to be... I thought you said it's Mike.
No, it's your man.
I'm not letting Mike anywhere near her.
Titi has to, you know...
I don't understand.
I plan to lock Mike in a room and lock the door.
Because of what? It could have been more
swallow the
interesting.
key.
Oh my goodness.
Like, how can we watch a conversation of Titi discuss... When we could have Mike going... So,
Mary,
to tell me.
You know you're hot, babe. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about how you achieved... Oh my gosh, can I talk to you, Tommy?
No, Mike, no.
That would be on TV assault.
He's gonna look on his face.
That would be assault, touch your tongue. From play, we get players. So.
Ozzy meant you this morning.
From
That's why you're here.
All right, calm down.
Do yourself.
Let's go to the news now.
And Busalami is on standby for us.
Thank you, Yomi. All right, this is what I have for you now. A number of prominent Nigerians describe the June 12 award as an unprecedented national reconciliation. Some of it says some Africa's Truth and South Africa Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and the Buhari's apology is really soul-touching. It is a joyous attempt here in the Aso Rock Presidential Villa. Many families and friends fallen and living June 12 heroes, journalists, top government officials, politicians, civil rights advocates, among others, converged to honor the memory of Nigeria's fairest election held in 1993 in what many described as a reconciliatory meeting between conservatives and progressives, friends and foes of the past. Many here were happy. Basically, this was what happened yesterday, and President Muhammadu Buhari's government for reuniting the past with the future through a soul-searching declaration of apology that I'm sure would help engender forgiveness and forge a secured future for Nigeria. We also want Nigeria's history to henceforth contain the June 12 scenario, another critical national event to set records straight and prevent youths, especially millennials, from living in the dark. Political leaders were also urged to surround themselves rather with patriotic aides whose fidelity is to truth and nation-building, not personalities. The Lagos State government has unveiled a 46-foot-high refurbished statue of the late winner of the 1993 presidential election, the late Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. Ambody has done it with the late sage Obafemi Awolowo, pro-democracy activist, the late Gani Fawehinmi, Afrobeat legend and social crusader, the late Fela Anikulapo Kuti, and now the refurbished statue of the late winner of the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election, Bashiru Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, with a befitting monument to mark the critical designation of June 12 as the nation's Democracy Day and the posthumous conferment to the highest honor of the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of the Niger on the late Abiola, and officially recognize him as the winner of the annulled election. This surgery is out. All right, I think that's about all I have for you right now. I'll give you back to Yomi and Titi for the rest of the program.
I think we can take the weather updates for
Yes,
this
indeed.
morning, and of
All right, I have got Babalola Ebenezer Korede, who is a Nigerian musician, producer, music instructor, sound engineer, and songwriter. Only you. He is the CEO of Supreme Music Production and is working on his first album to be released later on this year. Wow, that's quite a number of hats just for you, okay? So we're going to get a performance from you now, all right? Yeah, okay, take it away.
Makonju jaye, feso jaye re. Makonju jaye, feso jaye re. Mr. Konju jaye, Monica feso jaye. Mrs. Konju jaye, Monica feso jaye re. Story, story. You get this boy from my area, oh. He wants some money. He talks, say, he ready to make him all. Oh, mama tell him to work. He say na yahoo he want. You better wait for your turn, 'cause life not turn by turn. He said, no one cares how we feel in this nation that we live in. I could pack my things and go, but there is nowhere else like home. Where's the unity and peace we used to feel some time ago, when life was more than pot of gold? We fought together to break free. The love we shared, the pain we bear, the milk and honey in our land that slowly leaked into a whole greedy pocket of our own. Let us rise to defend the father's land with unity of faith, and let's live together in love. Bring smile back to our face. Restore the power of justice without terrorism, heartaches, and work to take back all that we've got and make this take shape. This the voice of the people, and that you hear it is wrong what we're singing. Come on, prove us wrong. Then his mama said, I called you Jaye, Feso Jaye re. I called you Jaye, Professor Jayere, Mr. Konju Jaye, Money Professor Jaye, Mrs. Konju Jaye, Money Professor Jayere.
Great, wonderful. Now you have the album coming up later this year. What are the what should your fans expect in that album?
Okay, actually I want to release a gospel album first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's coming up. Though I have over 100 songs.
You have to speak louder. Let them hear you.
Okay. Like I have over 100 songs, but I just want to push it.
100.
Over.
Wow.
I just want to push it hard. One by one.
Okay, so how many of that? How many are we going to expect in the album?
I guess like 12.
12.
Yeah, 12.
Oh, okay, all right. So moving forward, you have that much. It's going to be a problem having to choose exactly what you want. How come you compiled so much over the years and they had not been released? How come?
I just got my studio last year.
Okay.
Apart from that, I've been seriously busy, like working, putting things together.
Okay.
Like business and all working. So.
Okay.
So now I'm kind of settling down to do my music.
To do music. Yeah. All right. So moving forward from that and all of that, are we expecting any? Do you have any features in the album, or is it just you all through the album? Do you have any features that we should look out for?
Yes, I do, but most of them are not known. Like.
Okay.
They're upcoming artists.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, but then now you also produce and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Which one came first for you? Singing, music, production, which one came first for you?
The piano.
The piano. Yeah. All right, so apart from, which other instruments do you play apart from piano?
I play a little bit of drums, a little bit of guitar, but basically the piano.
Piano. All right, cool. That's a very good one. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to what you have for us. All right? Thank you. 100 songs now. That's really something. All right, so Yomi and Titi are in the garden, and they'll be having a wonderful chat with the fit lawyer. Titi wants to show you how fit she is. Titi, what's up?
Okay, now we're out here in the garden and we're taking in the bright morning sun and having a really interesting conversation.
I like the way you said it, taking in the bright morning sun.
Yes.
It's the hot morning sun.
No, it's really enriching, this type of sun. We're gonna act
I hope
like
it has a little bit of vitamin D in it.
It'll definitely have some of that.
So it's really nice to be here, and we have Oluwaseun Olufemi White joining us this morning,
AKA the fit lawyer. Yes, indeed. If you were watching,
you saw her
the show,
earlier, you saw her giving us some fitness training.
It was interesting.
Let's just call it that.
Okay, so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Wake Up Nigeria.
Looking very nice. Very,
yeah.
Thank you.
Very lovely.
So you don't look anything like what you looked like when you were doing the workout earlier on.
Yes.
You look completely like a different person. Okay, you look like a lawyer now, right now. So is this like an alter ego thing? How did the fit lawyer come to be?
It came to be, essentially, I was quite keen to show that you can be both quite fit and quite feminine at the same time, and merge that with quite a high-flying career, quote unquote.
Okay.
And I used to get lots of questions at university as to how I could manage being at university, managing a business, and also staying fit. So I'm quite keen to continue to show that you don't have to limit yourself to anything. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in fitness, but your interest may be in music, and that you don't have to leave one passion for the other. You just need to be massively organized.
So talk to us about the fact that sometimes this started with you as a result of passion, right?
Yeah.
Your passion for fitness.
Yeah.
So, but talk to us about how you can then create a balance, because especially in Nigeria, people don't really have this balanced life where they have this career, and then they have the fitness aspect of their lives merged with that. So most people, when you ask them, do you work out, do you keep fit, they tell you that there's no time for it.
There's no time.
Yeah.
So I find that it's meant that I'm extremely organized.
Okay.
So there's time apportioned to everything. And when people tell me that they don't have time, what I think is, fitness, you know, exercising is 1 hour in the day, there's 24 hours. There's definitely loads of times in that day where you're not being productive and you're procrastinating. And generally in my car, I always have trainers. I always have my fitness stuff. So if I find myself, instead of having to go home first and I'm coming from work, I just go straight to the gym. But then if I find that there's too much traffic and, you know, going to the gym is a bit of a stretch, then I just head home and do my workouts at home with my resistance bands.
Right.
And it's about allowing flexibility in my lifestyle, whereby I'm able to, I do the kind of exercises that I can slot in anywhere and everywhere.
I want to take you back to the resistance bands. Now, we've had quite a few trainers on the show. We've been doing this since last year in July. And the resistance bands, the way you used them was actually a different technique to anything we had seen before. So I wanted to bring you back to that. Because a lot of people feel it's all about the weights and the machines in the gym. So is the resistance band a big part of your fitness routine?
So I didn't start lifting weights again until about a month ago.
Okay.
And it was more because I was like, a lot of my gym buddies like weights, and sometimes it's like, okay, I'll go with you. But essentially, I've built my body off body weight exercises, resistance bands, and cardio at home.
Okay.
So things like, because people think that if you're not lifting heavy, you're not doing the hard work. So what I'll say is, a lot of the time, say I'm doing like back rows, right? You lift 10 kg, if you're really strong, 20, 25. In each, like at once, it's 25.
Yeah.
And you do that, that's wonderful. I weigh about 59 kg or 60 kg. So if I'm pulling up myself, I'm pulling 60, 59 kg.
Wow.
So when you think about what it takes to master your own body, it requires a lot more work than any weights you could ever really
That's
push.
one of the things I wanted to also talk about. You know, you talk about the fact that, because that's also one of the biggest challenges for people who live in Lagos especially, balancing work and a fitness lifestyle. So you talked about traffic and a couple of other things, spending maybe the whole day at work, you don't get home till like 8 p.m. Talk to us about some of the things that you can do at home. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, specific things that people can do, especially busy executives.
Okay, so one thing I would say is, if you know that you're tired at the end of the day, don't fall into the trap of leaving your workout till the end of the day. Do it early in the morning, or do it at lunchtime, if you can do it that way. So I would say stuff like your star jumps. They're underrated. They really get your heart rate up. High knees, burpees, everyone hates them. There's a reason we hate them, because they get your full body working in the way that no other workout does. So you get your legs going, your heart rate going, your arms going, your back, everything. Jump squats, lunges, push-ups. A lot of women shy away from push-ups. They are the way to the amazingly toned arms that everyone is looking. Everyone is
We're staring at them. But let's talk about people's reaction to your body. How do people actually respond to you? So is it different now to how you were before? Because I know you must have gone through a fitness journey. So what has the reaction been?
So I was called Thunder Thighs at school.
Thunder Thighs?
I was quite fat,
okay.
Right? And I went to school.
So you used to be fat?
Yes. I went to school with a bunch of, white people, and everyone was skinny. So I had a very different type of body. So I was the person who was teased, but in a loving way, right? And then now what I get is, it's two things. Some people are like, oh, you look wonderful, but don't let the muscle get too much. I get that in Lagos.
Especially in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. But the thing is, it's extremely hard for you to get muscly as a woman. Like, it takes consistency and a lot of dedication and hard work. Mostly in Nigeria, though, I get a lot of, how can I get my waist like yours?
Okay.
So it's very, I would say the trajectory is very different in Nigeria than it was when I was away. Just because I'm now amidst people who have there's a lot of similarity in, like, you know, in my body and the physique that I have.
Please say that you're going to come back. Please say that you'll be coming back regularly, because I know a lot of people learned a lot today. A lot of people are probably going to rush out to buy resistance bands today. I know I'm probably going to go and search for mine. They're probably dusty somewhere in one corner.
I think one of the things that we all learned.
Up.
Yeah, one of the things that we all learned also is that, look, 30 minutes in a day, you can just find time and do stuff.
20 minutes.
He likes to
If
jog.
I put you through a 20-minute workout, you will be very.
You'll feel the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
But on that note, we have to say a big thank you to our friends at Homely NG, of course, for the kitchen accessories, and also a big shout out to Fola at Fola's Place for our hairstyling. Thank you to all our guests, Stephen Amojirigbe,
and of course the fit lawyer herself.
Yes, indeed.
Sheon joining us this morning.
Really, thank you to all of you at home.
All right, it's been a great show. We will be back again tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Wake Up
7 a.m.
Nigeria at 7 a.m. Don't forget.
Bye.